morning. Welcome to the Family Story Time at the Frank Saris Public Library. I'm Miss Ann and I am ready to get started. So won't you join me by singing the good morning song? All right, get ready. Here we go. Good morning to you, and how do you do? I'm happy to see you. Good morning to you. Well done. So I think we should warm up by singing. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And most of you know this song, so we're going to start out with clapping our hands, and then we're going to stomp our feet, and then we're going to shout hooray, and then we're going to do all three, okay? So here we go. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! Very good. Are we warmed up yet? Not yet? Well, speaking of warm, have you been outside lately? And have you noticed that it's not quite as warm as it usually is? That's because fall is on its way. And when fall comes, it gets a little colder. So how many of you know another word for fall? Autumn. Right, autumn is another word for fall. So, speaking of autumn, we have another song, and it's called Autumn Leaves Are Falling Down. Okay, and this one has hand motions. And when we say autumn leaves are falling down, we're going to use our fingers and hands, and we're going to pretend like they're leaves falling down. And then when we say the wind will blow them round and round, we take our arms and move them around each other. And the wind is blowing them around. And then when we say drifting gently to the ground, we move our arms back and forth like the leaves are drifting gently to the ground. And then our last one, we take a rake and rake them up. You take your rake and you just rake your leaves, okay? And this goes to the tune of London Bridges Falling Down. So it goes like this. Are you guys ready? Okay, here we go. Autumn leaves are falling down, falling down, falling down. Autumn leaves are falling down all around the town. The wind will blow them round and round, round and round, round and round. Wind will blow them round and round all around the town. Drifting gently to the ground, to the ground, to the ground. Gently, drifting gently to the ground, all around the town. Here we go. Take your rake. Take a rake and rake them up. Rake them up, rake them up. Take a rake and rake them up, all around the town. Very good. How many of you out there like to rake leaves? I don't know about raking leaves, but I like to jump in them. That's a lot of fun. So as you can tell, our theme is fall and leaves, and so that brings us to our story. And our story today is going to be Fletcher and the Falling Leaves. And this is about a little fox, and he has a friend who is a tree, and he is not quite sure about fall. And he's worried about his little tree friend because everybody knows that there's 4 seasons, and apparently this little fox really didn't know about the seasons. First comes spring, when all the leaves and and flowers are coming out, and in spring is when all the leaves turn green and the grass is green, and then in the fall the leaves start changing colors and they start falling off, and then winter comes and it's cold and all the trees are bare. So we're going to start this story, and again it's called Fletcher and the Falling Leaves, and it's by Julia Rawlinson. Alrighty, here we go. The world was changing. Each morning when Fletcher bounded out of the den, everything seemed just a little bit different. The rich green of the forest was turning to a dusty gold, and the soft, swishing sound of summer was fading to a crinkly whisper. Fletcher's favorite tree looked dull, dry, and brown. Fletcher was beginning to get worried. "I think my tree is sick," said Fletcher. "What's wrong with it?" his mother asked. "Its leaves are turning brown," said Fletcher. "Don't worry, it's only autumn," she said. Fletcher ran back to the tree and patted the rough bark. "Don't worry, it's only autumn," he said. "You'll be feeling better soon." But the tree didn't get better. Each day, more leaves turned brown. One morning, the wind blew a small brown leaf off of a branch. Fletcher jumped up and caught it very gently in his paw. "Don't worry, tree. I've got your leaf. I'll fix you." Fletcher looked around, picked a piece of grass, and carefully tied the leaf to a branch. Just then another gust of wind ruffled Fletcher's fur. The little leaf shook itself free and fluttered back to the ground. Fletcher picked it up again and thought very hard. Then he poked the leaf onto a twig and pushed it down firmly. "Now you hold on tight," said Fletcher. "No more flying around." The little leaf gave a tiny rustle in reply. The next day, a strong wind was blowing through the forest. Fletcher rushed out of the den and ran all the way to his tree. Lots of branches were bare, and little lost leaves spun around everywhere. "Don't worry, tree, I'll catch them for you, I promise." Round and round and round whirled Fletcher after the swirling leaves. "Leaves, wonderful, just what I need for my nest," said a squirrel. "But those leaves belong to the tree," said Fletcher. "Don't take them away." "The tree doesn't need them anymore," said the squirrel, bounding off. "Help, help! The wind and the squirrel are stealing our leaves," cried Fletcher. "Leaves? Terrific! Just what I need to keep warm," said a porcupine rolling around. "These belong to the tree," said Fletcher, plucking leaves from the porcupine's needles. "Not any more," stuffed the porcupine, and away he rolled. "Help, help! The wind, the squirrel, and the porcupine are stealing our leaves," cried Fletcher. Suddenly, a flock of friendly birds swooped down from the sky. They picked up the leaves in their beaks and poked them onto the tree's branches. Soon the tree was leafy again, and Fletcher flopped down and smiled. "Thank you, birds, thank you," he gasped as the birds fluttered away. He lay looking up through the leaves at the sky and drifted off to sleep. But the wind continued to blow and the branches still danced. The leaves shivered and shook themselves and began to wriggle free. They tossed and turned and switched and twirled and tumbled to the ground. They brushed Fletcher's ears and nose and filled his dreams with a whispering sound. When Fletcher finally woke up, he couldn't believe his eyes. Instead of a roof of dancing leaves, all he could see were bare branches against the sky. "Oh, tree, I am so sorry," gulped Fletcher. "All your leaves are gone." But then he saw high in the branches one small leaf still holding on. See that little leaf? "I won't let the wind steal that one," said Fletcher, and he began to climb. He crawled along to the last leaf and held it firmly onto its branch. All day long the wind blew, the branch bounced, and Fletcher held tight. "I'll stay with you, leaf," he said. "Don't worry." Then, with a sudden whoosh of wind, the branch bounced high. With a plip, the leaf let go and fluttered like a little flag clutched in Fletcher's paw. Fletcher looked sadly at the leaf he had promised to save. He carried it carefully down the tree and back to the den. He made a cozy little bed for it and gently tucked it in. But all night long he could only think of his tree, all on its own. So at dawn, Fletcher tiptoed outside. The wind had finally stopped blowing, and the air was cold. The moon still hung in the clear sky, and pale stars glimmered. As he came to his favorite tree, Fletcher saw a magical sight. The tree was hung with 1,000 icicles, shining silver in the early light. "You are more beautiful than ever," whispered Fletcher. "But are you all right?" A tiny breeze shivered the branches, making a sound like laughter, and in the light of the rising sun, the sparkling branches nodded. Fletcher gave his tree a hug. Then he went back to the den for a nice warm breakfast. See how sparkly that tree is? Isn't it beautiful? So that is the end, and I hope you enjoyed that story about Fletcher and his favorite tree, and he came to understand what fall is about, and he wasn't so sad anymore. But I don't know about you, but fall is my favorite time of year, and I just love everything about fall. I love the leaves and the colors and the pumpkins and being able to wear sweaters and the pumpkin lattes. So our craft today is, not surprisingly, it's going to be a leaf sun catcher, and hopefully you stopped by the Frank Serres Public Library front desk and were able to pick up your packet. You're going to need a pair of scissors for this craft, so I'm going to let you go ahead and get those together, and then we'll be right back. I'll meet you right here to do our craft. Okay, so are we ready to do our craft? Today our craft is our sun catcher leaf. This looks like an oak leaf, and those of you who have been to the library before, I made these last year with the kids at story time, and it was a lot of fun to make, so I thought we would do it again. So hopefully everybody has their kits. We are using this big baggie, and we're going to need first the contact paper, and we're going to take one of the contact paper sheets and we're going to peel it apart just like that, and we throw this part away and we put the sticky side up. Okay, so we put in the sticky side up, and then we take one of these leaf shapes and we put it right on the contact paper, so it's in, well, more or less inside the contact paper, and the sticky part is up. And what you're going to do is you're going to get your little packet, the little one that came inside the big packet, and it's full of all these little colorful, whoops, kind of floating away, these little colorful papers, and that's going to be the colors of your leaf. And what you're going to do is pick out your favorite colors and just put them on inside the black outline of the leaf. And we're going to make them some pretty fall colors. If you know your fall colors, you'll know that there's some orange and green, just a little bit, because the green is changing into red and purple and brown and gold and orange, all kinds of colors. Some years are more colorful than others. Yep, and then we just keep adding different colors to that. And while you're doing that, I am going to tell you a fun fact about the biggest tree. Some of the biggest trees are found in California in the Redwood National Forest. And these trees, the biggest ones, are about 30 stories tall. And they are about 82 feet in circumference. And if you think about it, if you've been to Pittsburgh and you've seen the PPG building, that building is 40 stories. So the tallest trees in the California Redwood Forest are 30 stories. They're almost as tall as that big building out there. So that's pretty tall. All right, so once you get all of your spaces covered, it's going to look something like that. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take our other black piece and we're going to make sure it matches up because there's two sides and you don't want the wonky side, you want the right side. So we put that right on top of that one and we push these other pieces aside, and then we take our other contact paper and we try to open it. Oh my goodness, this one's tough. All right, I need my bifocals here. Okay, well that corner isn't coming off. Yeah, so this is funny. All right, here we go. We got it. Kind of bend the corners a little bit. It makes it easier. And we throw that one away. And we take the sticky part. You can feel the sticky. That's the part we're going to put on top of the leaf. And we want to do it kind of carefully so that we get all of the leaf in there. And then we smush it down. Make it really flat. All right. So it looks like that. Okay, so it's pretty colorful, isn't it? Just like fall. So we take our scissors and we carefully cut around the leaf. And if you want to leave a space around the edge, that's fine. It's probably better that way. That way it stays together. So you don't want to cut all the way to the black part, just around the edges. Do it carefully. Take your time. This is going to be really nice to hang up on your window. It'll catch all the sun and bring out all the colors. That'll be really pretty. And then, so another fun fact about trees, some of the oldest ones are also in California in the Redwood Forest. They are about 4,000 to 5,000 years old. That's pretty old. Yeah, that is very old. So, once you get your leaf cut out from the contact paper, you'll notice at the very end of the bottom of the leaf or top of the leaf, there's a little hole there. And you can take your scissors or your pencil, have your mom and dad, big brother or sister help you poke a little hole there. And in your kit, there is a little piece of yarn. We're going to put that through there. And if you have trouble, just use that pencil to shove it in there in that little hole. And you pull it through. And then you put the ends together. And you tie them in a knot. You can do it any way you want. And it is ready to hang. Isn't that lovely? So we are ready for fall. And fall is coming. I think it's coming in about 2 weeks. So get ready, get your pumpkin lattes ready and get ready to go get your pumpkins, and it's going to be fun. So we are done with this craft, and if you notice, also in this little packet, I put in a little sheet. You can go on your fall scavenger hunt. It's a lot of fun. You can, it has a list of all the things that you can find in the fall, like pumpkins and flowers and butterflies and bees. So you can just go ahead and look for these things, and once you see them, you can scratch them off the list. And then on the back, there's kind of an I Spy. Has different leaves. There's maple leaves and buckeyes and elm leaves and oak leaves, and you can see if you can find as many as you can and write the number in next to each kind of leaf that you find. So that's kind of a fun thing to do if it's too rainy or wet or you need something to do. So we're going to push this aside, and we are going to say goodbye. We're going to tickle the stars and tickle our toes. Then we're going to turn around and tickle our nose. We're going to reach down low. We're going to reach way up high. Story time is over, so wave goodbye. Till we see you again. So long.